All right, guys, what's going on? First video since the election. Had to let the dust settle just a little bit before I made a video about it because I wanted to be very accurate on what I said, and I wanted to see if my predictions came true. A couple of them did. I predicted that Trump would basically let him talk, wouldn't really fight the interference. I predicted that Joe would basically talk himself off a cliff, which happened. Sorry about the background noise. My son's playing with this new toy. Oh man, these police, man. What's going on? Anyways, yeah, I predicted that exactly what happened. Joe basically talked himself into a corner. I knew he wouldn't last long talking. He was in the woods getting pumped full of that medicine. It didn't help. You can't really restore cognitive function. You can kind of fake it a little bit, but you can't really restore it, from what I understand. So that happened. As well as Trump was basically, he just had his quip. He called him. He said, "Let's go, Joe." He said, "Let's go, Brandon." Sleepy Joe. The funniest part to me, and it's always funny when Trump's on TV or any type of broadcast, but he was like, Joe Biden was like, "Yeah, we beat Medicare. Like that's a system you're trying to beat, is Medicare." Anyways, he's like, "Yeah, you beat it to death." You beat it into the ground, man. But Joe was really talking about the economy, trying to talking about all these jobs he created. He didn't create the jobs. After COVID was over, people went back to work. It's just that simple. He didn't create nothing. Trump actually did it without a pandemic. And then this is why I think the coup was a plan to usurp all of his accomplishments, because basically the economy flunked, the unemployment flunked. All of these things basically went down the drain once the coup hit, and I think that that's why it was a pandemic. My opinion warning. Put that on the screen here, opinion warning, my opinion. But, I think that's why it was planned. Also, look up Project 2021. What was it, Project 2021? Basically, what it was is, and we're not talking about like the Project 2025, it's basically projection on what would happen if the world went into a pandemic. This is way before it happened, and basically what they predicted would happen happened. And after seeing this projection, all of these millionaires took out all of these stocks out of their companies and invested them in the stocks that would be most affected based on the projection. So take with that what you will, but look it up for yourself. Don't believe me, Project 2021. Now, I'm making a separate video about Project 2025. One thing I just want to say and clarify, why is Trump's name affiliated with this? He's not an author of this bill. Like, if you look up Project 2025, Trump's face is next to it. Trump didn't authorize this. Trump has been out of office for 4 years. He didn't authorize this when he was in office. He didn't propose this when he was in office. All of the people that are making it, there's some Democrats and Republicans involved in this. But the actual bill is like 900 pages long. It's pretty crazy how long this is. I'm not reading all of that. TLDR. Basically, they're trying to do away with a lot of systems and give the government less power, the people more power. Local and state, they're trying to give them back a lot of power when it comes to certain systems in the communities, and taking it away from the big government, pretty much. But of course, they're spinning it like, oh, it's racist and this, that. Also, another thing, when it comes to voting, they're trying to pass this bill where you have to prove citizenship to vote. And they can't say it's racist no more. Voter ID is not racist. All black people have IDs, period. Just that simple. But they are trying to, they're trying to do some stuff, man. They're trying to do some shady stuff behind the scenes, and I don't really like it. They're trying to make it so that you don't have to present some type of form of ID, or some type of birth certificate, social security card, whatever. Something that 99.9% of U.S. citizens have. And the reason that the Democrats are basically trying to fight this is because my opinion is that if you come into this country illegally, because we've got millions of illegal immigrants that have migrated into our country, if you can get those millions and millions and millions of people to vote, let's say you give them free housing, you give them let's say a card with $1,200, and then you give them free food, and you're basically just opening the floodgates, letting them come in. I would vote for the guy who did that for me. And Trump didn't do that, for sure. Reason being is the negative effects that it has on our economy, which, as you can see, is happening. So, that's why I think they're trying to fight the voter ID thing. Everybody who's an American citizen has a social security card or birth certificate. Not all immigrants have them. Legal immigrants have them. People on a visa have them, but illegal immigrants don't. So that's millions and millions and millions of votes that Joe's trying to get under the rug that I don't think he's going to be able to get. Even still, people trying to work. I mean, because the economy affects wages too, and illegal immigrants are working for these crap wages as well. So, that's a thing that's happening. I think Trump's still going to win. There's nobody who can really beat him. Do I think Joe will drop out? No. I think he might be forced to resign. As unfortunate as it is to say, Joe's getting pretty up there, and his cognitive function is just not there anymore. Not what we need to be the president's supposed to be a decision maker. He's supposed to have the last say when it comes to a lot of things. And I wouldn't trust Joe to have the last say on a slice of toast. So, that being said, I think he's going to be forced to resign. And I think we're going to have Kamala as either the main runner or as the actual president for at least a couple months, my opinion. But is Kamala going to beat Trump? There's no way. She's done literally nothing. And I know a lot of black people know that she's actually worse than Joe, especially when it comes to like the crime bill and all of the black people that she locked up for minor offenses, whereas Trump actually let a lot of people out for minor offenses, especially drug related stuff like marijuana stuff. He got a lot of nonviolent offenders out on the First Step Act. Look it up. The First Step Act, it was passed and signed by Donald J. Trump. Look that up. If you don't believe me, you can always fact check what I say. But it's hard to say who could beat Trump at this point. I mean, he's got almost $1 billion in campaign donations after the conviction. His poll numbers are just through the roof everywhere in all of the swing states, especially my state of Ohio. He's dominating. Everybody that I ask is like, every time I bring it up, they're like, "Oh yeah, you voting for Trump?" I'm like, yeah. Then I bring up all the stuff. I ain't gonna say I've converted a couple people, but I've made a couple people say, I didn't know that. Like talking about the HBC funding for life, or all of the convicted felons that he got out on nonviolent crimes, stuff like that. That affected a lot of black people. Or people forget he gave people 12. What was it? 12? No, he gave 12 and then 6, I think. So he gave people what, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, $1,800 plus the unemployment boost plus the tax credit, the extra tax credit for kids. He gave people a lot of money, and nobody else did that but Trump. Trump directly signed that into action. So regardless of what you say, I'm gonna make a separate video about Trump basically disregarding racist remarks and racism, or disavowing racism and white supremacists like indefinitely. There's the whole 20-minute video. I'm just gonna play different clips and stuff. But yeah, even the Democrat Party right now is messing with Joe because they watched that interview. They watched that and they said this ain't our president. This ain't who we want. Like, they're finally starting to see what we're seeing, and the donors are actually starting to pull out. He had to cancel one of his rallies because the donors are starting to pull out, and they're starting to see what we've been seeing since the first year. Like we knew, he's been in politics for 50 years. 50 plus years actually. What has he done in politics? Like, has his name been on any big bills? Or, he said the crime bill. The crime bill was not a good thing. Like, why does he keep toting that around? He said, I beat gun control. I didn't. No, you didn't. You'll never beat gun control. I mean, I'm gonna make a separate video about that, but 3D printed guns exist, and there's nothing that nobody can do about it. I mean, the files are out there. Cody Wilson, I believe, who Defense Distributed, he won. He fought the government and won. Like, they cannot take the files down for 3D printed guns. Like, you can't do it. And they're just getting more and more innovative. If you want to see some more stuff about 3D printed guns, actually, 3D printed ghosty goos. I'm actually making another video about reacting to some ghosty goos that I've seen on different platforms that are pretty interesting. And yeah, I got some pretty interesting stuff on there. If you want to look at my other channel, Practical Civilian is my other channel. We talk about a lot of pews and pew related stuff. But let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Stay tuned for more. We got more coming. So, peace.